initiating rage process.
And we're back in the room for today, Thursday, October 17th. Good morning, everybody. Hold on, let me just put this on. That's right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all listeners on radio 95.1, 95.3. Good morning to our viewers online, YouTube, and of course, Facebook. Good morning to you if you're listening online as well on our website, or you're listening on one of the streaming apps. It's definitely a pleasure to be back with you for another Ladies Room. And of course, today being Thursday, it is the final one for the week. And boy, has it been an eventful week. Grenada was keeping this week. There are days when it's like so dead and slow. I wonder how news agencies, how they make it for news. But listen, get off my life with Auntie Runes. I wonder how they make it, because usually it's dry, but it has been wet for the past couple weeks. Teachers, healthy. Now we were at the restrictions, amplified music, National Heroes Day. We're keeping, that's all. A lot happening. And of course, I want to talk about that this morning. So I beg your indulgence. And if you can share the live, I will greatly appreciate that as well. Don't just come sit comfortably and don't share. I would really appreciate it if you guys shared, because that way we can get more participation. But sometimes that could be a bad thing, because those who come here on a regular, they know the rules. They understand that we have open discourse. We are respectful of each other's opinion. You're free to call and share your view, and nobody calling back to counteract and cower you down, or to dismiss what you said or downplay what you said. We listen to each other, and at the end of the day, we agree, we disagree, or we disagree, we move regardless. All right. So to those of you coming in for the first time, just bear that in mind. You are welcome anytime, but please be respectful, because I see some of y'all be gallivanting all over the place and acting like y'all and have no sense when it comes to certain things. But over here, y'all better have some sense, all right? Because you know how quick we are on the block button. We don't stick. One time, same time, with immediate effect. T.I. will say expeditiously. So I thank you. Linda, good morning. Hey, Judy, good morning. Welcome to the room. Good morning, Marianne. Hey, Angel Fire. Good morning, Auntie Runes. Look, go away early today. Make sure you pass on the message, all right? Tell moms good morning. Good morning, Nakisha. Good morning, Maureen. Morning, Lydia. Lydia, I find you been scarce this week. Where you come out? You outside or something? Tamasha, good morning. Hey, Lou Sam. Morning, Rita. Mr. Akeem, the president of Facebook and the Government Information Service PRO, the social media PRO. Morning, Kendra. Terrence Wells, good morning. Hey, Jenny. Morning, Richie. Peter Joseph, welcome. Good morning, Dimly Rajesh. I am well, thank you. Claudine, how you doing? Morning, Naya. Naya, you and Jackie doing the most. Morning, Christopher Raymond. Good morning, Thandi. Janelle. Where is Shante this morning? Shelly, good morning, love. How you doing? Morning, Valerie. Morning, Patrick. Josie, good morning. Yeah, you're free to share that opinion too. I want to hear from you guys this morning, your take on it. Kadina, good morning. JJ, Cam, Simeon, good morning. How are you? Hope all is well, sis. Good morning. A lot of appointments. Okay, I understand. Where's Madam Shante this morning? Okay, so in the absence of Shante, those of you who are here, can you please just share, so the others who probably did not get the notification will be able to do so. I'm not seeing. Morning, Roxanne. Okay, there you are. Good morning. Good morning, Red Pepsi. Lisa, good morning. Morning, Maria. Where's Andrea? I'm not seeing Andrea. Somebody tag Andrea. Akeem, tag Andrea on the usual suspects. And we can kick it off. All right, so coming in, share it, and we'll join. All right, so yesterday, the Prime Minister had a press briefing, which I'm going to play just that part of, speaking specifically to the holiday, National Heroes Day holiday that will be observed on Salvon. I'm not seeing Shante this morning, so that's why you ain't get tag. I'm not seeing um I need to get a new prefect for the room, but somebody who's reliable. All you want reliable? I can't depend on Olive to save my life, because one minute she here and I tell her I'm the only one allowed to leave and don't say. Can't be doing as I say and doing. Listen, you have a serious situation. Tell me about it. Yeah. So if you can't, I need somebody who will be here on time and able to do the roll call for me on a daily basis. This appearing like Houdini when you want and when you feel like it is not sitting well on my chest. And no prior notice as to I'm not gonna be here this morning. So, morning Sydney. Hey Shireen. I am. Thank you so much. Morning Karen Bailey. Um she was active an hour ago. So me no. Where the other one? Where the other tall one? Did anybody tag Jackie? Where's Jackie? Where's Gabby? Where's what told you this morning? You're not even Friday yet? Or they start to bong away and run away and call class already? It's just Thursday. Are they too fetish? No no. Hold on, I'm trying to tag this one here. I could appoint Akeem, but what if the government, if GIS or somebody have some other life? I can't depend on Akeem either. He's gonna be gone about the business. So it had to depend on Mr. Akeem, because Akeem is a runaway train. Wherever there is government business, and usually we don't do government business over here, so I can't depend on that. He always did, but he always in government business. They need to appoint him as the minister of something, because he always up in everything. So I can't rely on him to be present every day. No pro bono. I really can't rely on him. I'm sorry. I'm gonna need somebody else. Anyways, happy Credit Union Day. It's Credit Union Day today, so shout out to all the credit unions, and of course they always observe that. But like I said, we want to discuss our business this morning, which is my listeners online. Good morning. Um, discuss Bob. Who is Bob? Who is Bob? What Bob yourself come tell me about? Who? Listen, don't distract me, please, because before you know it, the time is over and done with. All right. Did anybody tag Gabby? Let me just tag Gabby, and I'm done with tagging. We can move. Who come? Who ain't come? They'll figure it out. So we had an announcement made last year, and that was to do with National Heroes Day. And you see, let me take my music down. This is what I mean when I say we have a serious communication problems. And a lot of the times, it's the people who're supposed to do the job that create the problems, and therefore create problems for whatever administration is in power at any given time. We are the ones who sometimes cause unnecessary problems because we are not doing the jobs that we're being paid to do, and therefore it creates a problem. Because a press release was issued yesterday, October 16th, 2024, by the RGPF, which stated, Miss Debbie, I know one time with you these days now. I know what's going on with you. This speed, you're in, out, in, out. Yeah. To do with restriction of amplified sounds on National Heroes Day, right? And of course, it said in observance of National Heroes Day celebration, the Royal Grenada Police Force informs the general public that no amplified music will be allowed on Saturday, 19th October 2024, inclusive of those permissions that are already granted. Exemptions are granted for activities associated with the observance of the holiday, and therefore the RGPF sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience caused and appeals for the full cooperation of the public. And that came from the Office of Commissioner of Police, and of course the usual number to contact the Community Relations Department, yada yada yada. So that was released yesterday. Today is October 17th. And of course, there's a number of activities that were carded for Saturday, 19th of October, the Wagiti football competition opening being one of them. And of course, that is a big thing for football lovers and, for entertainment and what have you. And that also impacts or affects that event, because I saw, Waggy put out a post saying, advance notice, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, I don't want to misquote nobody. Next thing, I get lawyer letter in front of my door and I can't afford to pay nobody right now. Yeah, he basically said, Mr. PM, please let us know these things earlier. It takes a lot to put on an event. Now, while I agree with him, it is also safe to note that since last year, they did say, although it is not like per se law, it was last year when we had same holiday said, moving forward, it would be observed as a holiday. And the purpose, of course, national is an observance of National Heroes Day, what it stands for, the significance, and to, have a better understanding of the day and all of that. Taking all of that into consideration, here lies the problem where, and the question that I asked when I saw this was, hold on, why were permits even approved? Because permits aren't something you apply for today and you get tomorrow. You have to do so in advance. So again, that means somebody isn't doing their job. Because if this was stated since last year, so there's blame to go all around. Everybody has to accept responsibility. And I really can't blame the promoters because, yes, it was said last year, but like at everything else, we go into the hype, we go into whatever, we observed it last year, we moved along, and then nothing until the 99th hour. We know there's a holiday coming up, and when holiday come up, everybody see fete, have a good time, yada, 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 right? And I guess since there were no reminders, nothing put out of or nothing gazetted that it is under law now officially a holiday for that purpose, everybody sort of went with the normal holiday flow. Let's put on events, let's have a good time. So to me, the buck stops with those who gave the permits. So there seems to be a breakdown in communication somewhere. Somebody not doing the job, somebody don't know what's going on. People just doing things ad hoc, like everybody just doing what they want. There should be clear communication, what's happening when, before you give permissions to have an event. So I'm not blaming the promoters one bit. Because at that point in time, when you send you could make all the plans, but unless you get approved by the RGPF, you can't do nothing, especially when it comes to, it's not like you're in your shop or in a little thing having a private something. If you're talking about open spaces and amplified music, you must get permission from the RGPF. Not like you have a little bar and people just around your bar drinking, having a good, no. You must get permission. Because this was the same issue last year. So it's like, why are we having the same problem this year? How is it that the local authorities don't know what's going on? Who is responsible for not knowing what's going on? We had the exact problem last year. So how is it in 2024 we are having the same problem? And now it's a case of we the people against the prime minister. When this was made clear last year, we had the problem and it was said that this is what will be happening moving forward. We also had permits being revoked, blah, blah, blah. So somebody isn't doing their due diligence. Somebody isn't doing their work that they're getting paid to do. And we get up and we make noise as per usual. Samantha says I'm blaming all of them. I'm not blaming the promoter because at the end of the day, you cannot put on an event without getting permission. And once granted permission, that means it's okay. You have to go ahead to do what you have to do. I'm solely blaming those who granted the permission, bearing in mind this was said last year. We had the same issue last year, 2023. We're in 2024. How we reach back there again is my question. Is the question I'm asking. How is it that the local authorities aren't aware of what the 19th of October is about and that no permission should be granted? Why does the PM have to come on a press conference to reiterate that and make it clear this is what's happening? And the people who are supposed to be in control of that department, they're clueless. What are they really getting paid to do? It's like something being said over here and somebody doing what they want over there. We're not in sync. We're not on the same page. It is not a yesterday thing. It's not this year for this year. We had this same thing last year. The same issue. Why are we having it again? Yeah, Andrea says I'm blaming all. I wouldn't say fully aware because remember last year, and again, you also have to blame them because if it is something that we intend to do, it should be properly gazetted, put into law, so people understand the purpose. Yeah? It was for independence, and we also had the problem we also had October 19 being observed last year. Communication is definitely is like that's right, Debbie. Like the right hand don't know what the left hand doing. It's habitual for people to host events on holidays. So when we make changes, we have to remind exactly people ahead of time. Partying in holidays is like breathing, like in, out. People look forward to holidays for that purpose. To either have some boat ride, some fete, something. Holidays are synonymous with that. So being aware of that, the onus now is on the powers that be to send out reminders, whether it's to the police, hey, remember October 19th is coming up. No permission should be granted for such and such. Why are we still doing? Hold on, let me take a call. And I have to play this piece. Let me take a call and then I'll play the piece. Morning, Gabs.
Morning. First of all, to the people running the country, you're running a nation of 100,000 people. You're not running a saltfish shop. So, whatever law was passed or not passed should not be a question for debate. Your job is to run the country. If you do not want any amplified music or any mayhem on a particular day, you are the lawmaker. You know what you're supposed to do to make that a legal reality. No one owns the nation to get up in the morning and say, everybody's supposed to wear black today and everybody just supposed to jump and wear black. You're running a nation. If you have a plan for the nation, you operate with a plan, and these are the steps in order to get to your goal as to where you want the country to go. If you knew from last year or from how many years ago that you did not want any amplified music on this day, this should be something that is done the proper way, legally. This is a leader of a country, not a saltfish shop in Grenville. Do the right thing, put the right legislation into place so that when the day comes along, everybody knows what is expected of them. The promoters are not to be blamed because at the end of the day, the promoters did not just get up and plan an event. They went to the police to ask for permission, and the permission was granted. There are lots of times people in authority say certain things and then they renege and they go back and they change their mind or they reconsider. If I go to the police and I ask for permission for an event and they give it to me, my thought process is like, okay, maybe whatever they said regarding XYZ is null and void. They're not going that route anymore. Mm-hmm. If you know you're going to go a certain route as the leader of a nation, do it and do it properly. You cannot come and just drop things off the bat. If you did it properly, which I don't know, may or may not be the case, then the buck stops with the RGPF if they did not do what they were supposed to do in regards to whatever law is in place. But people cannot just get up and tell a nation of people what to do or what not to do without going the right, due, proper, and legal route. The first thing we need to examine here is if this is legal. The second thing we need to
the
examine
thing
here,
last I checked, the 4th, and I think not the 4th, the 19th last year, the 19th, it was done by proclamation and issued by the Governor General, and then it was published in the Gazette. So
right, the holiday. But what I'm saying is that the holiday was published. The no music or the way in which the holiday is supposed to be celebrated, right? Because, for example, Christmas is a holiday. Everybody celebrates Christmas differently, right? Some people have amplified music, some don't. It's up to your personal choice. In this case, your personal choice and freedom is taken away because you have to go by what the government is saying. It's a law, right? So my question is the no amplified music a part of said law or not? And then if the no amplified music is a part of the said law, then we have to blame the RGPF for giving people the permission. Then it would be the RGPF that has dropped the ball. But in no way, shape, or form is any one of these promoters responsible. They did not give themselves the permission. Somebody gave them the permission. And as far as I know, the Minister of National Security, who is the Prime Minister, is the person who gives the directives to the police force as to how they should operate. The buck stops with the Prime Minister.
Got you. Alrighty. Thanks so much, Gabs. Appreciate you as always. All right, nice. Okay, so let me play the piece from the Prime Minister from the press conference. Huh? And now you're telling me, listen, come off my phone, come off my cellular. Let me play this piece for those who missed it so we'll have a better understanding.
Of infrastructure, and I now invite our Prime Minister, who is also the Minister for Infrastructure, to make his make his presentation and give you those updates. Prime Minister.
Thank you again, Press Secretary. Well, my updates will span not just the Ministry of Infrastructure, but other important announcements as well for the government. So I will just simply reiterate that October 19th, 2024 is a public holiday. It's styled National Heroes Day. You would recall that last year, for the first time since 1983, October 19th was declared a public holiday and styled National Heroes Day. I think every Grenadian understands the significance of October 19th and the tragic events which unfolded at then Fort Rupert, now renamed Fort George. This year, the commemorative activity will take place at Progress Park, and it will start at 9:30. Our featured speaker will be the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who will deliver a key address. Many of you may know that Prime Minister Gonsalves was intimately involved in the affairs of Grenada during the period of 1979 to 1983, and knew Morris Bishop and many members of the government personally. So we thought it quite fitting to have someone who had intimate knowledge of the challenges, the progress, the successes of that period, to be able to deliver feature remarks to us, as well as to point to some of the lessons that we all need to pay attention to coming out of this period. I want to reiterate, October 19th, National Heroes Day, is not a festival, and it's not a time for festivities. This is a time for sober, serious, and respectful commemoration. As a result, no permits for the playing of amplified music in public spaces will be granted. I'm aware that some have regrettably been granted already, unfortunately, and they are going to be cancelled. I will obviously apologize for any inconvenience caused to those who would have received those permits already. But we indicated since last year that this was going to be our position. And for the record, we intend to legislate this as well and put it into more permanent and legal form as we begin to form up the framework around National Heroes Day. So we intend to take to Parliament legislation to make sure that the date is properly styled as National Heroes Day, legislation to set out the criteria for selecting our national heroes, legislation to say what our national heroes, whether they are alive or whether they are deceased, would be entitled to, how they would be known, and what other benefits they or their families may get from the state surrounding this event. So we want to again invite everyone to come out and join us as we mark this solemn occasion on the 19th of October at Progress Park at 9:30 a.m. The second announcement I want to move to.
That was all I wanted to get from his press. I highlighted Dillon's comment because I did not speak on that as well. And he made a very good point in saying not just the RGPF involved here, promoters have to get work permits for artists to come to perform. That ministry have to issue the work permits, so nobody knew there would be no amplified. So that's what I'm saying. It's apparent that people didn't know what's going on, and again, that seems to be a common thing now, that people don't know what's going on in their ministries, don't know how to perform their duties or to find out what's happening in order to perform their duties effectively. So we definitely have a problem that needs to be rectified. Okay, let me see. Good morning.
Hi, morning. How you doing?
I am good.
Yeah, I was trying to get since the other day. We had to talk with the teachers this week, but I just let me try to lead this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents in, speaking from the perspective as somebody that has done events, many events, I can tell you it's not easy for a promoter, after investing monies and so to be told,
Speak up a little louder now. You're kinda low. Speak up a little louder.
Okay. Oh, you hearing me any better?
Yeah. You have a earpiece or something on?
No. Let me see if I put it on speaker if it's better.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Try again. Let me hear.
Yeah, is this better?
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so as I was saying, because I've done events, I understand what it is and how a blow that could be when you really decide to have an event, you invest monies and so only to be told that you can't have an event. So I understand that's a serious dead blow. I don't know if, depending on, but I know with the Wagiti football, that would be difficult to say, okay, you could do it after midnight, but depending on the event, maybe they could try and say, okay, well, after midnight, and I don't know if that will be taken into consideration, because once midnight reached, like it for a FET, you might be able to still have the event. But for Wagiti football, I guess that will be more difficult, right? But overall, I think this really is a symptom of a larger problem we have. And I call it low-hanging fruit, right? And I just find it rather strange that these things always seem to happen. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a symptom of a larger problem. Mm-hmm. I think you kind of alluded to it earlier on, right? Mm-hmm. In that, let me say this, and I don't want people, as I say, this is not about politics. It's about politics, but it's not political. In that, elections have consequences, right? And people have to understand that this is a byproduct of when you politicize a public service and these different entities that's supposed to be professional entities, mm-hmm. right? So when you have persons that are supposed to be moving forward your agendas and they're not doing it because they are aligned with something else or someone else, that's why people would say, okay, about victimization, but you have to be able to put people in positions that can move forward your agendas quickly and as effectively as possible, mm-hmm. right? And until you start doing that, you're just peddling in naivety. It's all well and good and sounds good to say that once you're doing your job, you can keep your job. Mm-hmm. But you're doing your job effectively. Exactly. because nobody flicks a switch when they've been supporting, let's say, where there's a party for 5, 10, 15 years, right? And entrenched in the way that they think. And all of a sudden you think they'll flick a switch and all of a sudden they're working hard for you. That's not going to happen, right? So I think that is stop thinking like that. And yes, I know it's a hard balance thing, but I think that's the way that I look at this thing. You have to put effective people in places to move your agendas forward and to be able to communicate, and then we stop having all these unforced errors. If you want to
Got you. Alrighty. Thanks so much. All right. All right. So I again pinned another comment that basically says what I've been trying to say for the past couple of minutes, and one of them is this shows a serious disconnect. And I have to agree that there's a disconnect with the way, information is communicated to different departments. And as Joe Bailey says, this shows a disconnect. As Minister of National Security and responsible for the RGPF, who grants permission for events, this could have been communicated better. So, and that's not just the only place. There seems to be a disconnect in a lot of other areas. And we saw it not so long ago with the whole Ministry of Education, PSU, this, that, who's supposed to do what, who's supposed to send this to who and who. And it's like, yeah, and we seriously need, and my column made a very important point that yes, when we politicize things, this seems to be one of the outcomes, and if we stopped seeing color in everything but seeing a job, at the end of the day, yes, you're affiliated with whatever party, elections come, go, whoever is there, when it's time to make the wrongs again, vote again, you can go about doing your business, but when it's time to do the business of the day, what is so hard about doing it and doing it effectively? People are acting as though they're doing things in their personal capacity, and you're not doing it for country. Like you're running your own little personal shop, so you make whatever rules. You close when you want, you open when you want, you stock up when you feel like. You open this hour, you close. You could do what you want in your private business, in your private capacity. But when it comes to the business of the day, the people's business, our country, it's like people are just not getting it. And, sometimes you have to make some uncomfortable decisions, but it may not be popular, but you may have to make some uncomfortable decisions. And it's definitely time for a shakeup in certain areas. There's a serious need for shakeup in certain areas because we can't continue like this. We're spending too much time, going back and forth about these things that should be like clear, when there's absolutely no need for it. Okay, let me hear what this caller is saying. I ain't hearing you. Hold on. Why are you so low? Yes, accountability is lacking and no heads are rolling. Hold on. Yeah.
Morning time. I have a lot to say about this particular topic here, but I will just give you a little preview of some of the things I have in mind. The decision, or this vision that the government has for October 19 is disenfranchising a lot of hard-working Grenadians, promoters, bar operators, vendors, taxi and who does busing, all these things. A lot of people are being disenfranchised by that particular vision of one grouping, and I would say grouping. You understand? Because there's a lot of Grenadians, 120,000 approximately Grenadians, and we have different and varying views as to what, or who is heroes and what is heroes and what we're supposed to do to celebrate heroes and not to celebrate heroes, whatever it is. But I want to fundamentally agree with what Gabby is saying, because last year, October 19th, there was that issue. Independence, there was that issue of amplified music. Now, 19th of October 2024, come back again, and there is still that issue. And you're making the law wasn't passed then. It wasn't bothered, but on the 99th hour, you're pushing it and you're disenfranchising, putting people in expense. Because of what? Because of a vision that you have. Anyway, they have a blessed morning.
No, you have a blessed morning. So like you was going to say something else. But you remember you catch yourself just in time and decided to tell us have a good day. It sounded like you're about to tell us something else. But anyways, we got you loud and clear. And yes, you do have a strong point where that is concerned. Let me see if I can get to some more comments. Naya says that people be free, give them freedom, let people be, stop trying to force people to do what you want them to do. So Mr. PM could have just left the thing as is since permission was already granted for this year and then make the legislation from next year. Hold on. Someone says, I guess he didn't think it needs to be a law, but now it seems that a law is needed in the books. Hold on. What's the one who says the onus is on Waggy to keep updated on what? I'm not even, honestly, I can't blame the promoters. Like I said, because I honestly remembered it's a holiday, but I didn't go into so much thinking that it was the way it would be, it would be celebrated. I honestly thought it was just a holiday and we have the celebration and people free up. So if I'm thinking that way, imagine other people there, and there are lots of other people who felt the same way. I mean, ignorance is no excuse because, I mean, if I have something to do, then I'll put myself out, same breath. But I still say the buck stops with those who granted permission to have this event, to have events, gave permission or gave permits and approved permits for event, basically saying they didn't know either, or they didn't understand what the 19th is about either, and they're supposed to, and they didn't. So what you leave for the ordinary man in the street, you say, okay, let me go and put on an event. Big, small promoter. Yes, you plan, and like I said, you cannot continue with preparations for an event unless you're granted a permit. Plus, the event also includes an artist who needs a work permit. So there's a whole lot of permits and permission that had to go around. So nobody remembered, nobody caught wind of this to say, hey, listen, we can't grant permission for this, because y'all forget so and so and so and so. I mean, they're going to say it exactly how I'm saying it, but in a more professional manner. Sorry, permission was denied for your event carded for October 19th due to National Heroes Day being observed, and no permissions are granted for the use of amplified music, whatever the case might be. Nobody remember that? Nobody remember that? Nobody. So permissions were giving out, and then, sorry, we will have to deny permission, although you already granted, because of the holiday. Well, man, pop what we really go. What we really on? Morning.
Morning. I call in this time.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more thing to say, and it just bring it to the forefront of my mind. Who is responsible for making legislation? Isn't it the government? The cabinet, the legislative,
Mm-hmm.
which is still the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to take the blame. Reason being is because since last year you knew that is your plan. A whole year passed and you didn't put in the legislation needed. Now, when persons go about their business as normal because the law did not pass, they have to feel it, and you go about your business as normal when it was your fault that you didn't do what you needed to do. And somebody else or the people of the country have to suffer the consequences. That is unfair.
Yeah, because like I said, last year, the holiday was done by proclamation, and that was issued by the Governor General. And although it was published in the Gazette, how many people would have looked for Gazette? How much of us was going to read?
But even though the legislation that prevents amplified music was not passed, and you had a whole year to do so. You understand?
So that's a problem.
And it came up again. It came up again through independence.
Mm-hmm.
So you had another reminder that you need to pass the legislation. Right?
So here we are now.
Who's feeling it? Who has to suck the line or suck the salt? The common man, the man who trying to help feed the family and the nation as a whole because of the economic activities. Anyway, again, have a blessed morning.
Have a blessed morning, yes, sir. Someone says there's certainly opportunities missed to engage the law in a timely manner. In so doing, ownership must be taken for the resulting consequences. I would like to know why the relevant departments were unaware of the details of the rules associated with the holiday. What if there are more important stalemates? Who then takes the final responsibility for the impact to the public and the economy? All your answers, all your questions, I have answers to. Yes, only those who are in authority can answer those questions. I'm just here to ask them on you guys' behalf. But this, I mean, some might make light of it, but this is serious, you know. And like I said, we really need a shake up in these different departments that requires doing what they're supposed to do. We can't continue with all this embarrassments for what? But all it takes is people knowing what they're supposed to do. And I mean, it's like we have memory, we have cat memory, or foul memory, or dog memory. Because you tell a dog mash today and it come right in this minute and it coming right back. Or you tell a foul shoe and it coming right back. Like we have temporary memory or temporary amnesia or something. Because we could clearly remember what transpired for independence. And of course, last October. So nobody remembered, hey, you know, we had something to do. Let me find out, just in case I don't really have it tabled in front of me, make a call and find out what exactly going on with, you know, events, permissions. About let me so somebody just stamp a paper permission, come in front of you to have an event, stamp and send back, and nobody, it did not. That is a problem. That is a serious problem. And we can't continue to do so, because at the end of the day, while it is, and we could say, well, it was said, and well, it wasn't said, somebody was granted permission to host an event, not just a small event, a big event, which incurs costs, which involves paying people to do certain things. And these Jamaican artists, they win, they lose, they sing, they sang, they dance, they whatever, you have to pay them the money same speed. And they ain't cheap these days. You still have to, you still have expenses, you know, and it's not easy as just, okay, put it on for another time. You can, but that's another additional set of expenses you have to bear, you know. So we have to be on the ball. We have to do things the way they're supposed to do to avoid certain things, you know. Lead all to fetish. Listen, let's be thankful. We prefer to fet than to be running from bullets, guns, bombs. Let people drink and have a good time, compared to other parts in the world, not just the world, in the Caribbean, where every day there's some issue, some fight, some death, some by shooting, by this. I rather people fet out and have a good time than, you know, get involved in activities that brings problem to themselves and their families. Whatever people want to do, fet whole day, it's up to them. But let's do the right thing. Let's do what we're supposed to do to make sure that at the end of the day everybody's happy, right? Shireen, the RGPF is in charge of giving permits. Shouldn't it be known to everyone, including new individuals, made aware of the rules, whether it's legislative or not? That's why I said, like, the right hand don't know what the left hand doing, and the left hand don't know what the right hand doing. There's people doing what they want over here, and you're doing what they want over there. So, you want to say store for drink? Ah, boy. Someone says you don't run a country on memory, it's based on law. That is also true, because a lot of us can't even remember like what we did yesterday or last week, much just to remember what we did last year. It has to be in law. So that's why I said, if it's in law, then you go by the books, you go by the law of the land. Yeah? It doesn't matter, and I would not agree with that. The reason for the uproar. People have a right to do what they want to do. We can't. Last I checked, we live in a democratic state. We don't live in a socialist state. We don't live in a communist state. That is not fair to say. Let's be real, though. The only reason for all the uproar is that we as a nation use any excuse to have a fete with no regard for what the holiday is. So the minute we can't have it our way, we want to make noise and create mouth. I don't think that is true, because if it was known before, what are we making noise for? It was done last year. If it was done in a timely manner and people are aware, and you still want to make noise, that's the issue. But the issue is people being unaware, making plans to do things, and then here you have it. People are free to either fet all day, jam all day, drink all day, whatever they want to do, long as it is within the confines of the law. We can't tell people what to do if they want to fet whole day, whole night. That we can't tell people what to do. People have a way of, and to a lot of people, that is the way of staying out of trouble. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you choose, it's not like you Monday to Friday on a weekend, because with or without a holiday on a Saturday, people will be out doing their thing, looking for a fet, looking for a lime, looking for. That is socializing. Is part of living. It's part of human nature. We can't all sit down in a house holding my Bible and praying every day. People choose to do things their way. But when we're doing things, it must be done properly in order to avoid situations like this. So I don't think it's fair to say that the reason for the uproar is that we as a nation use any excuse. We don't need an excuse to drink. Grenadians do not need an excuse to drink. Monday to Sunday, yeah, but right if they want to have it once they give them permission. Sunday to Sunday. I see man sit on my rum shop for the whole week. We don't need an excuse to fed. So I don't know where people are coming from with this. Grenadians need any excuse. Grenadians need an excuse to fed? Like, really? Grenadians don't need an excuse to fit. People fit anyway. A man will stop by the road, turn up your music in the car, and next thing you see somebody reach with a cooler and people drinking and having a good time. Absolutely no excuses needed. People just need to understand that, hey, things should be done the way in a way that does not will not result in what we have now. Communication is important. Putting legislation in place to ensure that these things don't happen is important. All right? And that's all there is to it. There is a serious disconnect with communication. People are getting paid to do their jobs and they're not doing it effectively. Stop telling people what to do. Nobody likes being told what to do. We're grown, we're adults, we're paying bills. Cost of living going up every day. People are already stressed. If people want to de-stress by fetting whatever, long as they're not troubling anybody, then let them do whatever they want to do. But it is unfair to say that. And again, we have to be open-minded and we have to be fair, regardless of who we support, who we don't support. If something isn't done properly, it's just not done properly. No excuse. No excuse. And that's it. So, it is what it is. No permission granted. Whoever have to deal with it will have to deal with it. But next year, God's will, trust everything will be put in place. So now we have a better understanding as to what the holiday is about. So we would not have this hoopla again. We would not have this misunderstanding and miscommunication again. We'll just do what we have to do. Chanel, I did. That means you and your husband not listening. So before I go, happy birthday again, Hercules Williams. Wishing you a long life, health, and strength. And hopefully your feet will get colder. You'll learn to sit in your house with your wife and stop being on the road in every fet. But anyways, man, live life. Life is short. None of us getting out of here alive. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your birthday from your wife, Chanel. All right. So Shelly says, I personally don't know why people want to fet on a day that's designated to remember people who have passed. But that's my personal opinion. Shelly, All Saints Day. All Saints, All Souls, where people go into the cemetery to remember the souls and the lives of their dearly departed. There is a bar by the cemetery. There's amplified music by the cemetery, which is supposed to be a solemn moment. You sitting there lighting your candle and remembering the life and times. Listen, Grenadians don't pay attention to history. Grenadians don't care about history, especially this young generation. And we have a responsibility and we have to be blamed as well, because a lot of the things that we are supposed to be taking seriously, we don't. Because one, when we went to school, what happened in history class? Teach us about Haiti. They taught us about every other people's body's history except our own. All we get about Christopher Columbus with the lion self, then Carib and Arawak, they jump over Lippers Hill, and that's how the Lippers Hill come about in St. Patrick. What else do we really know about our history? Is our own history taught in school? So how do we get our young people to be interested in and celebrate what older heads are celebrating, because they know about it, they understand it? A younger generation don't know, in their 20s, early 20s, teens, 20s, early 30s, don't know about half of Grenada's history. So we can't force it on them if they don't know about it. We can't just tell them to come and celebrate something that they're not aware about. So that is something that we have to make part of the curriculum. Must be, let's say, the first 3 years of secondary school, from 1 to 3, our history, our Grenadian history, which is rich enough to be taught by itself, should make up a major part of our history lessons. Not everywhere else. I know about the entire Caribbean, and I had to, on my own, find it. A lot of the times, October 24th, we observe it, but we even know about our own Grenada Revolution. So we still have responsibility and have to accept responsibility for the fact that young people just want to fet and party because they don't understand what's going on. They don't know about what's going on. And a lot of the times who know don't teach, which is our history. We don't teach. Case in point, Patois, that died with the older heads because when they don't want us to know what they're speaking about, they speak in Patois. So that died with them. So there's a lot of things that we have to accept responsibility for. So we can't just blame young people for not being interested. What are they interested? I can be interested in something I don't know about. But if you don't know our history, how are you going to force it down somebody's throat on the 99th hour and say, okay, you have to do this or you have to go there and you have to be there to listen to that? They don't want to hear that. They want to go and hear Cartel and them having a good time. So we have to understand that. Who know, don't teach. And if they don't know, they will not be interested. So until we get to teaching in schools what all these holidays, the significance of all these holidays are about, we're going to have just the same set of older people showing up to these events every time. I rest my case. Y'all, go be great. Thank you so much, Beacon Insurance and Western Union. We'll see you guys on Monday, God's will, for another show. Until then, no amplified music. Stay home or go to Progress Park. I thank you. Bye.